So there's this weird theme park thing I've been thinking a lot about recently. Well, actually, it's not even a thing at all. It's a theme park itself. Ocean Park in Hong Kong. For those who don't know, Ocean Park is a marine animal theme park in Hong Kong that has a variety of thrill rides, animal encounters, shows, cute theming, and is also basically on the side of a cliff. It's also one of the busiest theme parks in all of Asia and has very intricate and detailed theming in lots of different areas and has a different variety of attractions that you can do there. Now I can just sit here and tell you everything about Ocean Park, or I can show you this Ocean Park commercial from the 1980s.
My name is Paul Pei. And my role at Ocean Park was Executive Director for Sales and Marketing. I was a part of a really wonderful team that actually started in the year 2000. The park itself is not-for-profit. It's a non-for-profit entity owned solely by the Hong Kong government. I'd love to tell you that the success of the park was because of me. It was not. It was the team.
It's hard to explain Ocean Park and the entire vibe of this place because honestly, it's not like any of the parks in America. Think of Ocean Park as like a futuristic boardwalk carnival that's built into the side of a mountain with a dash of feng shui thrown in there. It has some really cool views of the bay in Hong Kong and has its very own train stop on the MTR, the Hong Kong Metro. Here's the train station, and then here's the gate for Ocean Park. Very convenient. I don't know how many of you have been to Tokyo Disney Resort, but there is something similar here where they have their own train stop where you can just walk right off and go straight to the parks. Hong Kong Disneyland also has its own MTR train line that drops you off very close to the front of Hong Kong Disneyland as well. Now, being on a mountain, Ocean Park is actually split into two sections, and you can get between each section by walking up a cliff, using the cable cars, or this Jules Verne themed funicular. It's pretty similar to the upper lot and lower lot of Universal Studios Hollywood. But where's your Jules Verne submarine themed funicular, Universal? Now, all the different lands in Ocean Park have really intricate and well done theming everywhere. Polar Adventure has this Arctic and fake snow everywhere, or the old Hong Kong area has neon lighting and vintage signs everywhere. Now, a big priority for a lot of the guests and for Ocean Park is the animal encounters, and Ocean Park has a lot of them. The main animal encounter building is probably going to be this funky looking thing right here, the Grand Aquarium. It's quite massive and has something like over 400 different species of fish inside. The other priority is probably the Amazing Asian Animals Land. It has giant pandas, red pandas, even the endangered Chinese giant salamander is here. You can even find the golden snub-nosed monkeys here. So there's a ton of different animals you wouldn't necessarily see in most different places in the world. Most of all the animal encounters are the golden ticket into getting all the different kinds of ages to visit the park. Especially for grandparents and toddlers, there's a lot more options here than a lot of the other parks. Honestly, there's a ton to do in such a small space for Ocean Park.
You know, you can go to a Disney park or you can go to any other park and not encounter all of these aspects combined into one. So you can go to Ocean Park. You can go to Ocean Park and you can learn. You can learn about wildlife. You can learn about giant pandas. You can learn about sea lions. You can learn about birds. You can learn about fish. And you can have a heck of a lot of fun riding roller coasters, playing games. You know, with over 80 rides, shows, and attractions, you will definitely run out of time.
I think the theming here is really cool. I especially love this building for something called Explorer R. Now, inside is essentially just a giant interactive screen-based play area for kids to design their own animals and learn about conservation in sort of a video game kind of room. Sounds like little kids are going to get a big kick out of it. I just think the facade for it is maybe the coolest facade for any attraction I've ever seen. Now, they do have fun-filled experiences for the older crowd too. Right now, it just feels like a glorified field trip, but really it's the coasters at Ocean Park that make it stand out. Well, yes and no, actually. You see, there's only currently 2 roller coasters at Ocean Park. There used to be a mine train roller coaster that had beautiful views of the Aberdeen Harbor and did a loop around this cool dome structure. The Dragon was here, which had these beautiful vibrant colors on the beams holding it together. Currently, Ocean Park has Arctic Blast and Hair Raiser. There's also a fun Rapids ride that's called, get ready for it, The Rapids. I'm quite surprised that Ocean Park doesn't have that many water-based rides. A, it's called Ocean Park, And B, Hong Kong gets super hot during the summertime, so having another kind of water ride would be a really great idea. There used to be a log flume called Raging River that was here, and it was themed to Canada for some reason. Unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of Ocean Park used to have this in the video. Ocean Park took a huge cut after reopening since COVID-19, and they also took a huge cut after opening their very own state-of-the-art water park in 2022. Waterworld, no, not that Waterworld, has some really cool looking water attractions. I think that this structure itself is super cool and surprisingly classy and futuristic. Now, the Waterworld water park is on the very bottom of Ocean Park, so it's almost like having upper lot, lower lot, and then even lower lot, which is a separated ticketed part on its own. And we'll talk about some of their expansion plans in a minute, but it seems like they actually need to move a lot quicker than they realized. A lot of the other attractions at Ocean Parks here are spinner attractions. They have 2 swing-based rides and also 2 carousels, very classic theme park type rides. Now, none of these are really that particularly well themed. It seems like they spent most of that money overall on the land theming and the scenery than to the rides themselves. There's no elaborate show scenes on any of the attractions, there's no animatronics, and honestly, the funicular is probably the most fun-based theme park attraction they have. So Ocean Park is essentially just a Hong Kong version of SeaWorld, right? Wrong! Because Ocean Park has something that none of the SeaWorld parks or lots of theme parks around the world have. Original park characters. Whiskers is the Mickey Mouse of Ocean Park. Whiskers was created back in 2000, decades after the park opened in 1977. It's kind of crazy that it took them this long to come up with an original park mascot.
Whiskers is very dear to me, very close to my heart, because that was one of the first projects that I took on as a sales and marketing person. We went around the park looking at all the different animals and said, okay, which one of these could potentially be a mascot? And then we stopped at the sea lion. And the one thing you notice about a sea lion is he is always smiling. He never stops smiling. Through several months of work and drawings and designs and what have you, we came up with Whiskers. We created Whiskers for the purpose of being a representative, and then we created him for being the center of our logo. Ironically, on the side of the mountain of Ocean Park, there is a cutout. There is a cutout of what looks like a seahorse. And at that time, when you ask people, oh, what's the brand of Ocean Park? What's the logo? Everybody says, well, it's a seahorse. You know, the sad truth was, at that particular time, Ocean Park didn't have a seahorse. And it didn't have a seahorse. So, and seahorses are small and tiny. They're cold. They're cold-blooded creatures. They don't smile. And so I always said the seahorse doesn't represent what we are. Whiskers, with his smile and his waving flippers and his whiskers on, he represented us.
SeaWorld wished they had something as cute as Whiskers. They have Shamu for all of their icons and all the mascots, but it's not nearly the same. Whiskers is super cute, he comes in multiple different outfits and versions of him, and he has a roster of other cute animal friends that might even have better designs than him, similar to Duffy. There's also full educational kits for kindergartners online with full animated versions of Whiskers. There's a website online that has full backstories for all the different characters. My favorite character is this rock and roll shark named Mark. There seems to be a lot of concept art for a huge Whiskers Harbor themed area for kids and a sea lion area, but the current version of Whiskers Harbor isn't as exciting as they originally planned. It's mostly a little kids play area with some statues and some light theming. It does have the Explorer R building though, and that is cool. Even though Whiskers is used so much throughout the iconography and mascot and merchandise part of Ocean Park, I can't help but feel that his presence is a little bit lacking. He seems super popular after looking more about him online. Current kids seem to be big fans of Whiskers and these characters, and a lot of the kids who grew up going to Ocean Park have a lot of nostalgia for Whiskers. Remember, Ocean Park doesn't have any big parades or big show performances. They have a dolphin animal encounter show, and that's pretty much it. So, Ocean Park has been around for almost 50 years now, and it has had so many changes over the years. What Ocean Park has to offer in its design choices feel much more fun and detailed than the SeaWorld parks in America. However, they've been getting rid of so much of their attractions at Ocean Park that what makes it any overall better than the zoo with a couple of rides in it. And yet everyone I've talked to who's been to Ocean Park says it's their favorite theme park in the entire world. One of the biggest reasons I've found Ocean Park love is that it seems way more of a locals park than Hong Kong Disneyland. We've mentioned before about this being a lot more convenient than Disney to get to. Plus there's tons of variety besides just rides at Ocean Park as well. Hong Kong Disneyland is going to get a big pull of international tourists already visiting Hong Kong. Plus, Disney already is marketing with the whole Disney Magic global brand thing going on. Even though Ocean Park is still marketing towards families, it's more of a homegrown park you can't get anywhere else. A great example of the love for Ocean Park is its annual Halloween Fest, basically their own Fright Fest or Halloween Horror Nights that brings a lot of the younger adults and teens to the park. While Halloween Fest isn't perfect, this is a great example of something that Hong Kong Disneyland doesn't offer.
Back in it was 2001 when we looked at trying to get ourselves out of the red. How do we save this park from going under? Because it was on the verge. And I said, look, we want to focus on the local people. We need 40% of our business. We need to do something for them. And so at that time, it was in the summer, I said, well, how about Halloween? The skeptics in the audience, many of them, hello who, hello what, hello why? I said, no, Halloween. Well, Halloween was not a common word in Hong Kong. It was still very skeptical. It says, we want people to come to the park. We don't want to scare people away from the park. I said, it's because we scare them that they come. And Halloween became obviously an annual event, and it grew from year on year on year. It just grew and grew and grew and grew and grew.
And even with all the love I can find for Ocean Park online, it seems like everyone is in agreement that Ocean Park is in a state of transition at the moment. It desperately needs exciting and permanent attractions to bring a lot more guests locally and from around the world. Now it sounds like they are putting some big and exciting changes coming to Ocean Park soon. Their new Adventure Zone area, which will hopefully open in 2028, is said to have zip lines, an alpine coaster, bungee jumping, and more. This is definitely a great way to start bringing in more international tourists who are already in Hong Kong to come to Ocean Park. There's talk about building a new panda museum, easily the biggest draw for the non-marine live animals. And before COVID, you can find tons of awesome concept art, which would bring more attractions to Ocean Park, but also be sort of a beautification project and update lots of the theming. However, to continue to bring in the locals to come multiple times a year, the big thing you need to get a big win is more coasters. So doing this Adventure Zone area is probably the cheapest and quickest way they can draw in a bigger crowd sooner than later. Maybe we can get some more awesome stuff down the road, but hopefully this plan works. Now let's take a step back here and actually look at what Ocean Park has and needs versus something, let's say, like SeaWorld Orlando in America. Ocean Park has a variety of things to do, detailed rich themed areas, original characters, while Ocean Park needs marine-based coasters and at least 2 more water rides. While SeaWorld Orlando has marine-based coasters, 2 water rides, and SeaWorld Orlando needs a variety of things to do, detailed rich themed areas, and original characters. You get the idea. They kind of need to be blended together and see if we can make something cool out of both of them. Now, if Ocean Park could steal some of the coasters from SeaWorld parks in America, it'd be really cool to see if they can steal the electric eel coaster from San Diego, which would be a lot of fun, a lot of extreme airtime, but it wouldn't take up too much space. It could also fit in nicely already with their boardwalk theming. Having a good launch family coaster like Wave Breaker in San Antonio or Penguin Trek at Orlando could take up some of the fun layout of that old minecart coaster that used to be on the side of the cliff. And having a dive coaster that utilizes some of the cliffside views of Ocean Park, like Emperor at San Diego, would be a lot of fun for a lot of thrill seekers out there. Now, to create our own attraction from scratch for Ocean Park, I would like to see a flume ride based on Whiskers and his friends with some animatronics would be incredible here. Some flume ride and water-based ride is greatly needed. Or we could even go cheaper and do a Whiskers themed whip ride or something like alien swirling saucers at Disney's Hollywood Studios or the Baymax ride at Tokyo Disneyland. I think Disney has patented this ride system, but if we could find something in that vein, it would be pretty awesome. Even just having like a 3D shooter ride like Toy Story Mania would be a lot of fun. And if you're watching Ocean Park, I'm sure there are lots of other theme park fans like myself who would love to take a stab at designing something for your park. Ocean Park is one of the most popular theme parks in all of Asia and the world, and I am cheering for this place to do well and succeed. Yes, Ocean Park is technically a Hong Kong locals park, but the theming here is just too good and I would love to see it be fleshed out even more.
But looking ahead, looking ahead, I think the park needs to, again, sit down and become more innovative. I think the core of Ocean Park, which is, again, the entertainment, the animal world, conservation and education, I think that will continue. That will always, I believe, be the core of the park. Recently, they had a birth of a couple of pandas, and that was a shot heard around the world, and it's something the park had hoped for years and years and years. I think the PR message has to continue to be strong, and it has to continue to put the audience and on top of a pedestal. We don't live without them. We can't survive without them. So how do we make sure that we are serving them properly? Is it a new food item? Is it a new game? Is it a new ride? Is it a new type of entertainment? To maintain the business and to sustain the business, I think we have to always be creative. And I would say I would encourage the park to think about what this new audience is all about, what the trends are moving forward, and how do we make sure we capture that audience? And how do we make sure we capture their imagination?
Oh, and one more thing that I really love about Ocean Park is its designs for its annual passes and physical tickets. This might be an episode, but I've had an idea to do one about the physical annual passes and which one aesthetically looks the best. But we might already have a winner. Ocean Park, congratulations. So much of Ocean Park is very unique, and I like so much of the design choices that they have. Basically, just give me anything of Mark the Shark, and I'm gonna buy it. So, what about you? Have you been to Ocean Park? Do you have other ideas on how they can expand and make it even better? I want to see what other people think would be best ideas for Ocean Park. Comment down below and let me know. And remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more thoughts on theme park design.